Hey y'all, it's Elizabeth Weimler, and I hope you had a wonderful December. I hope you made it through Mercury retrograde. I know I did not fully come through unscathed. I ended up needing a new computer. So there you go. That's what happens with a Mercury retrograde. But we are now going to be looking at January of 2025 because oh my gosh, it's a new year. So happy new year. I hope everybody got to celebrate and is ready for this new year. It's going to be a wild ride, a year of transformation, a time of just going with the flow, embracing change, embracing getting comfortable being uncomfortable. My words, quote me, use it everywhere. That is the key theme for this year. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. I've used it with all my clients. I use it in corporate where I do my work. And it is the key theme. The more rigid you are this in 2025, the more you are going to be forced to change. You're going to be forced into uncomfortable situations. So enjoy that mantra, use it, and kind of just really go with the flow of each day, live in the present, show up, take action on those things that you can take action on, but don't get so set in a plan that you can't have a new path show up and go down that path. Um, One of the things for 2025, there is a lot going on. There's going to be a Venus retrograde. We're finishing Mars retrograde the start of this year. We're going to have obviously the Mercury retrogrades, Jupiter retrograde, Saturn retrograde. The big one is Venus, which we did not have this past year. We also had Mars closing out 2024 retrograde, and it is beginning 2025 retrograde. For those of you that received my December newsletter, I hope you took time to do kind of your year in review. If you're not on my newsletter and I don't remember what I said in my December video because that was last month and I didn't memorize it. So there you go. If I gave you insights into how to do a year in review, I would highly recommend doing it. It's not too late to do one. But with that being said, I want to jump into what the planets are doing in January, what we can kind of expect high level, and then we'll also look at each of the 12 signs and what they can respect high level. As always, all of this is very big insights, it's broad insights, especially when we get to the sign predictions. It's all going to be based off your chart. So, whatever your chart says is going to be what's most important, which means now's a great time to do your yearly update. If you haven't done one with me, if you've never done an astrology consultation, now's a great time to do one of those too. I will put links below if you're interested. No pressure, truly. And if you aren't signed up for my newsletter and you want to be signed up so it goes straight to your inbox, easy peasy, you don't have to go looking for videos. I'll also put that link below this video as well. You can also follow this channel, like it, whatever. Starting the month off, January 4th, Mercury is finally going to leave Mars's sign of Scorpio. This is going to bring a bit of a small respite because Mars will end up being in Gemini, which is Mercury's sign. So we're going to have a little bit with that, but we'll get to that later. But just know we're going to get a small respite from intense aggression and all that anger that the angry driving we've been seeing. I don't know about you, but I've seen some very aggressive driving lately. So that is one of the things that we see when Mercury is in Mars's sign. So Mercury is going to be moving into Scorpio or into sorry, it's going to be leaving Scorpio and moving into Sagittarius on January 4th. It will be in Sagittarius until January 24th. Mercury in Sagittarius is a time when people can be unselfish. They can think of new and original ideas. It's a time when you may find yourself wanting to learn new information and you may think of new and original ideas. It's really, it can be a time where you just need to be cautious not to overthink or to think too much of like your point of view. You need to be open, more open-minded and actively listening to other points of views and working to understand from their perspective. If you still don't agree with their perspective, that is okay. Y'all can agree to disagree. That's part of the beauty of humans is we can do that, but it is listening, understanding different perspectives, working to understand different perspectives, and understanding that everybody comes from is on different journeys. They come from different viewpoints. They've had different life experiences. Mercury and Sagittarius people can be more direct, and some may find that, under those transit, you have more energy and a more positive attitude. January 13th, we have a full moon at 29 degrees of Gemini. So it's right as the sun is getting ready to exit um, Sagittarius and move into Capricorn. So full moon, 29 degrees of Gemini. It's a full moon in the lunar mansion of Purna. This is going to be a more friendly full moon. It can be a time when you can really rely on yourself and your limitless inner resources. The only one that is holding you back from achieving your dreams is you. So just remember that there is always a way. I've seen people and heard stories from my clients of situations they've come out of things they've worked through. We are our own worst enemies sometimes. So focus on that inner limitless resources, and the possibilities are endless. Easy for me to say as I'm talking. Later in the day on the 13th, the sun will transit into Capricorn. Sun in Capricorn is a very practical transit. Anybody that has their natal sun in Capricorn is a hard worker. They can be frugal, they can be responsible, and have the ability to provide good service and support. During this transit, it's a sun in Capricorn. It's important to keep in mind that you can find yourself working even harder because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which Saturn loves hard work and discipline. It can be a good time where it can be a good time to check in on your budget. And for some coming off this holidays and overspending, this can be a good time to be more frugal and get your finances back in check. If you have not checked in on your finances in a while, this is an excellent time to check in, set a new budget for the year, see what's going on, kind of plan ahead. January 18th, Venus will be conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. This can be kind of felt a couple days before and after the exact conjunction on January 18th. It can be a time when you find it harder to express love and affection. You will need to use caution as you could come across as kind of more harsh, a little colder, a little meaner. Unless you have this in your natal chart, this is a passing influence. This transit of Venus being conjunct Saturn can bring a feeling of kind of sadness, but because that Venus is moving so quickly, that's also going to be a passing feeling. If you are in a relationship, this can be a time when your relationship is tested. For some, it may be tested by distance or kind of that general inability to connect meaningfully. If you are in a healthy relationship, this will be an easy test for you. You'll pass it. Don't worry. Don't overthink this. Excuse me. If you are on the rocks in your relationship, it's kind of touch and go, iffy. This transit is potentially going to be harder for you. And then, not to leave out anybody, if you are single, there is a possibility of a new relationship that's more karmic or may involve your career, or you could meet someone who has a noticeable age difference to you. January 21st, Mars retrograde will transit back into Gemini. So it's moving backwards, going to go back into Gemini, which means that our respite is over until April 2nd as Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So again, anytime Mars and Mercury interact, we're going to see aggressive driving. We're going to see more, could be assertive communication, but it could also come across as aggressive communication to some. So just know patience between January 21st and April 2nd. Patience while driving. So do that. Leave extra time when going places. It's also a time, again, to really watch your words. They could be more forceful, including the potential for verbal sparring. Some may enjoy this. Some have this naturally. If you have a Mars-Mercury connection in your natal chart, you're going to have this naturally. So this is going to make it a little stronger. So I would recommend for any conflict, just stepping back, wait to have the conversation once both parties have cooled down, and then the conversation can be more productive. The positive side of Mars transiting in Gemini is that it can be more scientific, more strategic, more analytical. The negative side is people can be more impatient, more restless, more easily angered or irritated. So there can also be increased anxiety under this transit as well. I will also mention that Mars will be out of bounds, which makes Mars energy even more just noticeable, out there, aggressive, pushing the boundaries. One of the things I do want you to think about is I want you to think back to the period of August 26th to October 20th, 2024. That was the last time when Mars was in Gemini. For the first part of this transit with its retrograde, think about what events happened. Anything that started then is likely to find a resolution during this final transit cycle from January 21st to April 2nd of 2025. Anytime Mars is involved and Mercury is involved, patience is going to be the absolute key to the transit. So just take that into mind. Also, the last thing I will mention about the transit of Mars in Gemini is that it can result in a higher number of respiratory or nervous systems diseases. So I've seen lots of people getting walking pneumonia, colds. Just know spring, end of winter, spring, we could see more colds and stuff showing up. January 24th, Mercury will transit into Capricorn. It's moving super quickly at this point. This is a time where people can be more purposeful, they can be more analytical. This may be a time when it can feel as if you are caught up in routine and it just seems monotonous. It can be a time where your self-esteem may be a little lower. So just know January 24th, while Mercury is in Capricorn, and it'll be in Capricorn until February 11th, because I know you need that information as well, because we all want to know how long it's in a sign, and I totally spaced on that. So now you have it, February 11th. Next thing we're going to look at, January 25th to February 15th. Yes, this is a relatively, it starts this day, it goes till February 15th. Rahu and Neptune are going to be within a degree of each other. So Rahu is the node of the moon. Neptune is one of the big outer planets, as you know. This time when they're within a degree together, this has the potential to be a time of a lot of delusion and unclear thinking. It can be a time when people overindulge and go to extremes or look for ways to escape reality. Neptune and Rahu will be exactly conjunct on February 1st. And what's even more, and it's going to be at 3 degrees of Pisces in the sidereal calculations. What's even more crazy about February 1st is that Venus will also be in this conjunction. And the moon is going to be in this conjunction as well. Venus will be at 3 degrees of Pisces, and the moon will be at 3 degrees of Pisces on February 1st. So if you are single, this is a time to step on the brakes and take things slow, as you may find that when the planets finally separate, the person is not really who you think they are, especially if you meet somebody end of January, February 1st, early February, give it time. Don't rush into any crazy commitments. That conjunction on February 1st is not a time to make major life decisions. We could see extremes in weather, and there is kind of potential for some issues with cruise ships or shipping boats or planes. For some, it can be a very spiritual transit. Some people may get strong intuitive messages or have prophetic dreams. So, the positives of this Rahu, Neptune transit, conjunction, etc., is it can make one more creative, more imaginative, or there could be some form of like spiritual awakening or mystical experience under that. So key dates, January 25th to February 15th, and the key one in between all of that is February 1st. So no, a lot of energy that first part of the year. January 27th, Venus will transit into its sign of exaltation, Pisces. This is going to be a long stay for Venus. As I mentioned earlier in the video, Venus is going to be retrograding in Pisces this year. So the good news is it's retrograding in its sign of exaltation. So it enters January 27th and it will be in Pisces until May 31st, 2025. So the retrograde will occur from March 1st to April 12th. And this transit of Venus in Pisces is a time of creativity and passion. It can bring a love of beauty and luxury. It can bring others to care deeply about those around them and those they meet. It will be important not to overindulge and to pick the healthy food options and exercise and whatnot. As I mentioned, that February 1st, Venus is going to be conjunct Neptune and Rahu in Pisces. So you may find yourself daydreaming on those days. Know that the thoughts that come to mind now may not be realistic. So kind of give them that time to percolate before following through on them and kind of just jumping into something. With that transit, you could find that a loved one disappoints you, or, just your creativity can be very strong during this conjunction. So embrace this and let your creative side shine. January 29th, we will have a new moon at 15 degrees of Capricorn in the lunar mansion of Shravana. This is a time to go within and reset. This is a great time to meditate. A couple days after the new moon can be a great time to begin projects as the moon begins to get brighter in its waxing phase. Excuse me. The new moon in Shravana can bring really this desire to search for information and knowledge and dig deeper on things. You may find that under this transit, you're more generous and just ensure that as you're being more generous, that your generosity does not lead you into debt. Because remember, earlier in this month, you're going to be checking in on your budget with the sun in Capricorn. I do want to give you kind of this broad heads up that we will discuss. April is shaping up, end of March, April is shaping up to be an intense and potentially crazy month. We're going to have 6 planets in Pisces on April 12th. Just know this will bring events that will shape the future because we also have a solar eclipse there at the end of March too. So keep that in mind. We'll talk about it more as we get closer, but I'm giving you this heads up now. Keep it in mind, January is a busy month. Each transit will have an impact on our world, but also on us individually based on which houses are being impacted by the transits. Again, best way to understand yours personally is to have your personal chart done by an astrologer. That being said, let's take a look at the sign predictions for each of the 12 signs for January 2025. High, high level, broad high level. I don't know your planets. I don't know your placements. Keep that in mind. Look off of both your moon and your ascendant sign. That's going to give you the most insight. So keep that in mind. But with that, Aries, this can be a great time to learn something new or sign up for a class that has been catching your eye. You're more intellectually curious right now. This can be a good time to travel. You're more open to new ideas that come up in conversations and communications with others. This is a great month to get a group of friends together and do something fun. It can be inviting everyone over to your home for a get together or like going out and doing something fun, planning an event. It can be a really good month to attend a conference as well as being in group settings because you will do well in group settings this month. And you can kind of have this feeling, you know, of more security during this time and more security in yourself and more willing to help kind of the group achieve its objectives. Taurus, this can be a great time to look inward and be honest with yourself about anything that comes to mind. You could find yourself in deep and intellectual conversations that get you thinking in a whole new way. You can find that things are working in your favor at work and in your professional life. You will find that your energy this month attracts people and circumstances that help you at work. And your working relationship should be running more smoothly this month as you want to work with others from a place of peace. Gemini, this is a great time to make sure expectations are clear with your spouse, partner, or business partner. If you are facing a situation that requires the help of a specialist, this is a great time to reach out and consult them on how to proceed. You will find that you have some type of experience this month that leads to your own personal growth. This could come in various forms and may not be a bad experience. So anytime I say experience, some people freak out. It's not always a bad experience. Some of our experiences are really good, and some of them are better in hindsight, but that's fine. For you, this can be a great time to get out and enjoy a museum or concert that isn't in your normal wheelhouse, kind of expand your horizons, make sure you're getting out, trying new things. This can be a good month for a vacation, but make it to someplace new that you have never been before. Cancer, you will be focused on health and work. You can be more detail oriented right now and capable of managing work that requires more brain power. You're focused on getting the practical work done. Be cautious though, as you can be more critical of others this month. You may find you are more focused on your health and improving it. And this month, you could find that you gain money through your spouse, a business partner, or even through some other means, such as an institution without any kind of extra effort on your part. For you, this can be a good month to apply for a loan if you need one, but only if you need one. So also best to check in with your chart and see if it's truly good based on your chart. But you will also find yourself learning more about how you relate to others this month. Leo, this is a great time to express your thoughts, both honestly to yourself and others. This is a great time to make it clear where you stand and what you're thinking, but be sure to do it calmly and not in an aggressive manner. Be sure you're still being sensitive to others, as you could enjoy pulling pranks this month that affect others more negatively than you even realize. So be aware of that. You are in luck this month. Relationships will be a focus for you. You have the ability to keep a balance between a focus on yourself and those you encounter this month. If you are single, you could find a new love enters your life. However, if you are married or in a relationship, you'll be able to express your love of your partner more freely. If you're in conflict with someone in your life, this month's energies will allow you to make peace with them. So keep that in mind, Leo. Virgo, you may find yourself going within to contemplate all the new ideas that you have encountered. If you have important matters that need to be discussed with your family, now is your time. Don't let the energy, the helpful energy, pass you by. I love to use the planetary energy in your favor, is what I say. This can be a good month for work and your relationship with coworkers and your boss. You have the desire to work with others. If difficulties arise, you can get them resolved through listening and discussion with those involved. On the home front, this can be a time where you need to make sure you and your partner are on the same page and in agreement. And this can be a good time for your health. Just be sure you do not overindulge in sweet or fatty foods. Libra, you can find yourself meeting new people. You may find yourself with short trips, whether they be for work or fun. It's a great month to pursue intellectual activities. It can be a great time talking with others, but also truly listening to them. This is a great month to get out, have some fun. It can be going to museums, concerts, anything else that kind of falls in that entertainment world. You can find that this month can be a time where you'll feel a need to express yourself more creatively. And you may find your self discipline may not be as strong this month. So just really be sure you don't get lazy and that you meet all your commitments. It can be a good time for love relationships, whether you are single or married. If you are single and you meet someone during this transit, which you may, and then if married, just ensure you bring romance back into your relationship. Scorpio, you may find yourself in negotiations with others around property or money, or you may need to help others understand where you truly stand in terms of what you truly value. You can find yourself enjoying relaxing times at home, enjoying the peace, or with friends coming over. This can be a time when you feel a need to redecorate your home. If this does happen, be sure that you stick within the budget you set for yourself. Start by setting a budget for yourself and then stick to the budget because there can be a tendency to overspend this month. So, also with that, it's a time to be cautious, not to overindulge in food and drink this month. So, it's all about moderation, both with your budget and spending and food. Sagittarius, you will find your mind more active this month. You may feel a need to get away and travel. It can be a good time to do a weekend trip to reset your energy and kind of scratch that itch, so to speak. You may find your mind may jump around from topic to topic very rapidly, which could confuse others. So be sure that you stay aware if they're like, what just happened, that you take the time and you don't get impatient with them. It can be a month where everyday activities will be more enjoyable and agreeable. You could find your calendar booking up as well as your social life really kicking in. You do have this ability to really see the beauty in everyday things this month, really soak it in, enjoy it, live in the present, and just enjoy your surroundings and know that you are surrounded by love. Capricorn, you may find yourself kind of desiring alone time to just do what you want and be with your own thoughts. This can be a great time to meditate. This may not be the best time to openly share your opinions, especially if you are doing so as a way to win over others. Kind of, again, go back to the start of this. There's other energies that kind of also corroborate this for you, Capricorn, but this month you can have the ability to take you down two different paths. You know, the choice is going to be yours. It can be a time where you attract mere material possessions, money, and people as well. You could see financial opportunities come your way, but there is a need to watch that you don't let extravagance and ego take over. So make sure you're staying humble, and make sure that your spending this month is practical and within budget. Aquarius, you will find yourself thinking about your goals and expectations. This can include analyzing them to see if they still resonate, or ever resonated. You could find that they were actually those placed on you by someone else. And if that's the case, then now can be a really great time to think about what do you want your goals to be moving forward. This is a month this month is really a time where you'll have that like desire to relate to others. You'll be more willing to compromise, which is required this month. And this can be a great time to get together with friends, take a vacation, or do something fun. Pisces, this can be a time where you find yourself making plans for your career. This can be a great time to learn new things related to your profession that help you grow into the future. If you are curious about how to move up in your career, not into your career, move up into your career, move up in your career, this can be a good time to have that conversation with your boss to understand better what is expected in order to achieve your goals. And this is a month where you'll find yourself kind of caring for others from that more selfless place. The key, obviously, because it's selfless, is not to expect anything in return because then it's not selfless. You may find that if you've been struggling in your relationship, that kind of reality surfaced this month and are asking you to be honest with yourself. So the key is doing for you, Pisces, is doing all you can do this month so you don't look back and have regrets. That is January 2025. In a nutshell, we'll put it that way. So hopefully your new year starts off well and that you have had a happy New Year's. And with that being said, until I see you again in February, I'm going to put the links below this video. If you're interested in the newsletter or consultations, they're all below here. But otherwise, until February, just enjoy and know the first few months of this year are going to be a lot energetically. So become flexible, stay less rigid, go with the flow, be in the present, enjoy everything that life has to offer. And I will see y'all in February.